Have you ever thought about learning another language? I studied A-level French and Spanish, and I still use them both in my work as a chef and when I'm on holiday abroad. In this video, we aim to show you the opportunities and experiences that could be available to you if you have language skills. People often think it's only worth learning another language if you're planning on living or working abroad. Yet speaking another language is a great way to understand the different cultures right here on your doorstep. The North West is one of the most culturally diverse regions in the whole of the country, and in Manchester alone 31% of the population is made up of immigrant communities. And did you know 129 different languages are spoken by students in Manchester schools?
In my business, which is the Yangsing restaurant, language is an essential part of it, in the sense that we have European and Chinese and Far Eastern customers. Our customers is international. Our staff is both Chinese and non-Chinese. We have to buy locally with Chinese suppliers or non-Chinese suppliers. We have to buy internationally. So in fact, languages is a skill required in our trade. It's just like in most other hospitality industries. Language is a real asset. If you can have one indispensable.
Hospitality, travel and tourism are vital sectors in our economy and offer amazing career opportunities for people with language skills. I've come here to the Hilton in Manchester to meet a young man who knows all about it.
I've been with Hilton for 3 years now. I joined straight from school and I trained as a chef for the first year, and then I decided that chefing's not really what I wanted to do.
What?
So I shouldn't be telling that to a chef like you, but no. But yeah, I still like cooking. But since I've been in Hilton, I've developed more of a passion for languages. Although I only did GCSE French in school, since working in Hilton, there's many opportunities to learn languages. It's really beneficial, really.
So even though you had an interest in languages when you were at school, then it really became a passion once you started working here?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, particularly working in a hotel, you get guests from all around the world. So, if you can learn a language or learn, even if it's just a few words, to speak to the guests, it's, it makes them feel more welcome, and it's something really I think everybody should be doing.
And how do you think you get to use them particularly well?
We've got people here from France, Poland, Japan, China, Czech Republic. There really is from all around the world working in Hilton, and because you're working with your colleagues from different countries, you learn more about their culture and their languages, which is really good as well. I quite like that. Working in Hilton, there are opportunities there to learn languages. For example, we have Hilton University, whereby you can do language courses online, and various languages, as I said before. From Polish, German, French, Italian. It's a Hilton brand policy to welcome a guest and greet them in their own language if we know that. I know quite a few, French, Polish, Japanese, Chinese, a few words in Spanish as well.
Would I be right in thinking that your language skills have made you a bit of a hit with the ladies?
Yeah, definitely. I see we've got a lot of Polish colleagues here, so I've seen in the canteen, I always call them kochanie. It means sweetheart. So I say, cześć kochanie, jak się masz? Hello, sweetheart. How are you?
Now, I need you to teach me something useful, something I could use wherever I go. Not in French or Spanish, because I speak those already.
Okay. Well, particularly if you're going to Poland, if you want to ask for a beer, say, proszę piwo kochanie, and then give a nice wink. That means, can I have a beer, please, sweetheart?
That's absolutely perfect. Probably the most useful expression I could ever want. I can use that anywhere and everywhere. Anywhere, that one, Tom.
It is,
There are a whole host of reasons why it's important to speak a language other than English. We're part of the European Union, where we can live, work or study in any one of 27 countries. So in the world of work, language skills are increasingly important to businesses working on an international level. European graduates are often beating Brits to the best jobs in this country because they speak 2 or more languages, while the British graduates only speak English. The UK trades with over 200 countries worldwide, and businesses, large, medium and small, need employees with foreign language skills.
I studied French and Italian at Manchester University, and I currently work for KPMG on a graduate trainee programme working in audit. I spend a lot of time travelling out to clients, and these clients often have business abroad, operations abroad. So I would help with translating documents that we would use for accounting records. I would definitely recommend studying languages as a degree choice because I think it really sets you up with invaluable skills for your career, such as communication skills, teamwork. And I definitely think that the confidence that I gained through studying languages helped me through interview processes and also during my client work at KPMG. People were surprised that I chose to become an accountant after I studied languages at university, but I think it shows that studying languages keeps so many doors open, and having that extra skill just gives you the edge when you go to an employer at a big firm like KPMG, and can definitely help you progress in an interview situation.
Je m'appelle Rudamer, je suis journaliste de foot, je parle l'anglais, français, l'arabe et l'espagnol. I am a sports journalist, mostly on football. I write for the Eurosport Yahoo website, mainly about English football, but also about French, Spanish, German and general European football. My native language is English, obviously, and that's the language I write most of my work in. I speak good French, conversational Arabic, and have a decent level of Spanish as well. In terms of my use of those languages at work, mostly I use them to translate interviews or articles from the foreign language into English, or to conduct interviews or gain interviews with footballers or coaches or other athletes in the native language. Being able to speak other languages, additional languages to English, has given me and colleagues of mine an edge in terms of being able to gain the trust and maintain relationships with athletes and coaches and agents for whom English is not a native language. Being able to speak French, for example, allows you to have a closer relationship with an agent or a player or a coach than an English speaker would be able to have. Because while that coach or player might speak a level of English, he feels much more comfortable speaking his own language and is more likely to be honest and open in that language than he is with a second or third language.
I'm Graham Watson. I'm one of the United Kingdom's members of the European Parliament. I live in this country, but I work during the week in Brussels or sometimes in Strasbourg. I speak, apart from English, my mother tongue. I speak French, German and Italian. I understand some Portuguese, and recently I've been learning Chinese as well. I think had I not had these language skills, I would not have been able to do many of the things I've had the opportunity to do. I've been the chairman of a committee in the European Parliament. I've been the leader of my political group. None of this would have been possible if people had not had the confidence of knowing that they could speak to me in their own language. You build, through learning languages, an international community of friends. Inevitably, you meet people from other languages groups. In my case, I married an Italian, and I have the great fortune of having bilingual children. Ja, ich würde sagen, wenn ich keine Fremdsprachen könnte, hätte ich nicht gemacht, was ich gemacht habe. Ich bin zur Vorsitzende eines Ausschusses gewählt worden. Ich war Präsident meiner politischen Fraktion im Europaparlament, nur da ich Deutsch, Französisch, Italienisch und natürlich Englisch könnte.
My two passions are food and football, both international industries where language skills are a real advantage. J'adore les langues étrangères, me encantan los idiomas.
Right, that was shocking. Abysmal. You lot just didn't show up. Gary, talk to the players around you. That's your bleeding job! Keep pressing higher up and be first to the second ball. Thierry, nous devons continuer à appuyer sur haut hauteur du terrain. Ne donnez pas n'importe quel espace au milieu du champ. Peut-être. Tenemos que seguir presionándolos alto en tono. No tienes que calcular espacio en medianos del campo a Dietmar. Dietmar, wir mussten vorsetzen, Sie hoch gewünscht zu drücken, geben Sie ihnen nicht jeder Raum in Mitte des Felds. Also, Gut. Luka, Krtovic, Tony, tutto ciao, vaffanculo spaziale, va bene, continua a spingere, forza, e sei prima della palla, sì? Sì, a Tungi. E quando saliamo, me llama talemo,
Okay, boss.
OK, that may be far-fetched, but you get the idea. Having language skills can be really useful. Even Lauren Cooper can speak a bit of French.
Ça va, Lauren?
You talking to me?
Oui, Lauren, il faut que vous parlez en français.
Is it?
Lauren, it's a French oral exam. You have to try to speak in French.
Whatever.
Lauren, s'il vous plaît, quel âge avez-vous?
I don't know. Ask me in English.
Lauren, it's a French oral test.
But I ain't a French oral. What? I'm an English oral. So if you want to ask me a question, ask me in English.
Lauren, French is an important language.
Not for me, it ain't.
And it can teach you a lot about your own language.
Don't care.
Lauren, you have to try to make an effort.
No, I don't.
Lauren, that's enough. I'm not going to stand here and listen to this kind of xenophobic abuse from a stupid girl who is too ignorant to even learn the language, let alone understand the people. I will fail you for this test, which means you will get an F for the entire module.
Suis-je bothered? What? Suis-je bothered, though?
Lauren.
Regardez mon visage.
Comment?
Regardez mon visage.
Lauren.
Regardez mon visage. Est-ce que mon visage bothered?
Non, mais...
Non, parce que je ne suis pas bothered.
People who speak more than one language earn more money and have a wider choice of work, and are also more likely to be more successful with the opposite sex, a new survey shows. Polyglots, people who speak more than one language, earn an extra £3,000 a year, a total of £145,000 over their lifetime.
Very good. Okay, now.
A fun way to decide if you want to learn a language is to attend a language taster day, like these students who visited Manchester Metropolitan University.
Today we've been looking at different cultures all around the world, and I've been thinking about what it'd mean to us to take a language and how it'd help us. The belly dancing, which made us look pretty stupid but was fun anyway, was quite good. There's loads of things going on, and it's just like encouraging us to take a language to see how fun it'd be.
I'd like to study Chinese because I just love how they write, and the culture is very interesting, and also that it's just it's the most spoken language as well, so it's surprising a lot.
Today we've been learning why languages is important.
And we studied Arabic and we made origami swans. To learn how languages are really helpful and they can really help you get a job when you're older, and when you go to different countries you can speak to them there. It's quite respectful.
And I want to study Spanish and French because I think it's important to know other languages apart from your own.
By speaking a language other than English, the world opens up to you. You have an asset for life. Languages help us build friendships with people across the globe and in our own multicultural communities. We can experience different cultures in a way that enriches our own lives too. They open up travel opportunities, the chance to study or work abroad, and ultimately allow us to experience things that speaking English alone we simply wouldn't be capable of.
Are you alive?
The UK has an amazing diversity in community languages, including our main Asian, European and Afro-Caribbean communities. Sharon Handel is the Director of Routes into Languages in the North West and Head of Languages at Manchester Metropolitan University. Her passion for community languages is both personal and professional. Well, Sharon, you know lots and lots about languages. Why would you recommend somebody studies a language?
Well, there are a lot of reasons why you would want to study a language. I mean, first of all, obviously it's fantastic when you can go abroad and you can actually speak in the language, be it for holidays or whatever. But it's also fantastic in terms of future careers, because these days all employers are looking for people with language skills. But that's the practical side of it, but it's also just a fantastic experience to learn a language and start to understand other cultures and understand other ways of thinking, other ways of doing things. It makes you rethink the way you do things. So for all of those reasons, language students are really sought after by businesses, for example.
Now, my daughter's 12 and she's doing French and she's doing Latin at school, which is quite a rare one these days.
It is, yes.
Do you think it makes more sense, or it's easier to actually learn a language when you're younger, or can anybody fundamentally learn a foreign language?
Yes. I mean, I think fundamentally anybody can learn a language. It's always worth trying to learn a language even later in life, but it is definitely easier to do it at school. Partly because it can be one of your core subjects at school, so it's part of what you're doing. You don't have other commitments which prevent you from learning your vocabulary and everything. And also it is actually easier to learn a language when you're younger than later in life.
One of the things I know that you're very interested in is the learning of our community languages.
Yes.
What does that mean exactly?
Well, the languages, community languages means the languages spoken by people in the various communities within a region or a country. In the Northwest, we have a very culturally diverse region. So you have, for example, Asian communities who speak Punjabi, Gujarati, who speak Urdu or Hindi. You've got a lot of Arabic speakers, you've got a lot of Cantonese speakers. So these are what we understand by community languages. And one of the biggest community languages in this region is actually Urdu.
If you learn a community language in a certain way, what are the big advantages of that then?
Well, the advantages are there are lots of jobs in a multicultural country like Britain, where you are in contact with people who don't necessarily speak English, even though they live here. For example, the National Health Service, nursing, the police force, law as well. They all require people who speak languages other than English, you know, the community languages.
Now, your passion for languages, have you tried to pass that on to your own children?
Yes, I certainly have, yeah. When they were very small, they always spoke Arabic with their dad, and they also went to Arabic supplementary classes at the weekends. And they've both taken languages at school. They took French and Spanish. So yes, I have managed to pass that on to them.
Here's the question. Most Brits think there's no point trying to speak a foreign language while on holiday. Is that true or false?
I agree. I think the majority of our population will probably agree with that.
So have you ever learned a language to go away anywhere?
I've tried to say a few little words.
So you know the French and the Spanish for is anybody there?
We're good at pointing stuff. That's what we do very well. Croissant. Croissant. Put some gravy on it.
Well, there are thousands of reasons to learn a foreign language, and here are just a few from the people in the know.
I'm learning French because I'd like to one day live in Paris, and I'm really interested in fashion, so hopefully work for a fashion magazine in Paris.
My name's David. I'm a freelance translator and interpreter. I work in the public sector and the private sector rather, for police, courts, etc., and sometimes with conferences as well. The reason I decided to study languages was because I was really attracted by the idea of travelling abroad, spending time abroad as well, and learning about different cultures. I've learned so much just by being in a foreign country, and it's really given me a competitive edge in the employment market. Throughout my career, I've known that just by having an additional language on my CV has really helped me a lot throughout my career.
And one of the misconceptions is that if you study languages, basically you spend all your time studying the language as a linguistic system. There is that dimension of the grammar, of actually learning the oral competency in speaking and writing the language, but that is only a part of the overall degree programme, which actually involves immersion in Italian culture, including the year abroad over in Italy, which is a key component part of the programme, and really is a part that they really enjoy and really benefit from, and an integral part of taking an undergraduate languages degree.
The year abroad is probably the scariest part for the majority of them, and the most exciting part as well. They get the chance to spend either a term or a full year abroad. The majority of them ask for extensions because they want to stay longer than that. And they've got a range of opportunities. They can study in a partner university, they can do a work placement, which is fantastic for their CV, and in terms of employability, it really gives them an advantage. They can be assistants through the British Council scheme. And apart from that, they really do experience life in the country, which they've studied from a distance for 2 years.
Well, first of all, we learned an Italian song, which was quite fun, and we did like a dance to it, so we learned like vocabulary. And then we learned like about Italian culture, and we had a quiz, which was really interesting too. And then we learned another song, like an Italian song, and we learned about what you can do with Italian if you study it, what you can do like in life, and like what routes in university and things. Well, I've got some ideas about what I want to do in the future, like at university, what I can do, what I can put Italian with, so I'm really considering doing that.
If you're monolingual these days, you can't operate in what's a very multilingual world that we live in. And that means in terms of everyday careers, long-term careers, global business, everything. So I think that's a very important message to get across. I think the advantage that we have as English speakers is often overestimated. It's no longer an advantage. If lots of other people are learning English, and we speak English as well, but they speak English and other languages and we don't, we only speak English, then it's no longer an advantage.
As you've seen, languages are essential in a wide range of careers, whether you want to work in journalism, finance, politics or tourism. Improved technology means we can speak to and work with people from across the world. We need to be able to communicate globally, and to do that, we need language skills. If you choose to continue with your languages, you'll stand out from the crowd, your earnings potential will increase, and you'll be very valuable to your employer. Don't close the door on languages. Keep your options open and see where languages can take you.